So this story is actually about the time that I went to India. Are you kidding me? You waited until the exact time that I started streaming to decide to climb into my lap. All right. So this is about the time that I got stuck in an Indian airport. So I was on the way to India. Flight from Dog. Why are you eating thumb sleeves? What is wrong with you? I was on the way to India. My flight was from Charlotte to Toronto to London to Delhi. I believe that was the path that I took. And then once I got to Delhi, I actually had to stay the night in a hotel. And then in the morning, I was supposed to have a flight to Indore, which is in Madhya Pradesh, for those of you who live in India. But anyway, I got to the Delhi airport, stayed in the hotel, paid way too much for a cab ride because I didn't know what the conversion rate is, so they ripped me off, and the next day I paid like 10 times less. So I got to the airport. I got there like 2 or 3 hours early because I didn't want to miss my flight. Lohan with the £5, I appreciate it. Got to the Delhi airport. Like I said, 2 to 3 hours early. I looked around looking for the flight to Indore at like 6:30 a.m. or whatever it was. I found a flight to Indore at 6:30 a.m. I was traveling by myself, by the way. I didn't have anybody with me. So anyways, I am just sitting at the airport gate. It's about time for people to start loading in. I walk up. Okay, keep in mind, some people in India speak English, but a lot of them do not speak English. And if they do, they have a very heavy Indian accent, which, if you're from the United States, can be difficult to understand. So I walk up to the gate. I'm like, hey, I think this is my flight. I show them my ticket. They say, no, go over to the other desk. And so there's another desk across the way, but they're not loading any passengers. So I was like, why am I going to the other desk? But okay, I go over to the other desk, and they say, no, go back to that desk. And I go back to that desk, and they're like, just wait. I was like, okay. I didn't know if they were trying to like load the first class passengers or something. So I just like sit around and wait. I go back up. They're like, yeah, this is not your flight. What do you mean this is not my flight? So I run upstairs to try to look at the board with all the listings of the flights. I realize there's actually 2 flights to Indore. I'm not at the right one. They're separated by about 15 minutes, and I'm at the one that leaves 15 minutes later. Fanny, I'm going to lose my mind. Fanny, stop, 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 stop. Dog will literally pick up anything she could possibly chew. Okay, where was I? I was at the gate that was leaving 15 minutes later. I start running up to the gate that I'm supposed to be at. I get there and the plane is taking off. I'm like, welp, okay. So now I'm stuck. Fanny, I love you. Yes, I love you. You're just being kind of annoying right now. Okay. You're being kind of annoying. So anyway, now I am stuck inside of the Delhi airport. And I don't, keep in mind, I do not have a functioning cell phone because I don't yet have a SIM card. I'm supposed to get a SIM card with the people that I'm staying with in India. So I'm trying to function off this. And yes, they have Wi-Fi, but in order to connect to the Wi-Fi, you have to verify your phone number. And obviously, I don't have a phone number because I don't have an Indian SIM card. Yeah, that's right. Yes, okay. Yep, thank you. I love you. Yes, I love you very much. Okay, so anyway, I'm stuck inside the Indian airport. I have now missed my flight. I don't know where the JetBlue desk is that I need to go to book a new flight, so I'm wandering around trying to find some type of desk, looking for someone to contact. Everybody I talk to has no idea what I'm supposed to do. So after wandering around for 2 hours, I finally sit down at a Starbucks because I am just sick and tired of trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. Yes. And I haven't talked to anybody that's spoken English in the last 24 hours. And there's one American girl there sitting like right next to me, and she said something to me. I was like, oh my gosh, somebody speaks English. So I talked to her for a little bit, and then I was like, okay, can you watch my bags for just a minute? I'm going to try to walk around and find the JetBlue desk. So I walk around, I find the JetBlue desk. I'm like, hey, I need to get my flight rebooked. And they say something to me that I don't really understand, but then they're like, okay, just follow this lady and she'll take you to where you need to go. I was like, okay, I guess that I will follow this lady because I don't really have any other options. So I follow the lady. I go through this doorway. I come out the other side of the doorway, and I am on the outside of the terminal. And something you need to know about Indian airports is once you are outside the terminal, they will not let you back in under any circumstances if you don't have a ticket. So they take me to go get a new ticket. There's a flight at like 6:30 p.m. that day that I'm trying to get onto because it's going to the same location. They're like, well, it's booked up right now, but if people aren't here within 45 minutes of the flight taking off, then you can buy their tickets because they're not allowed to check in after that. I was like, okay, can I go back and get my bags real quick? They're like, no. I was like, why not? They said, we can't let you back in. I was like, okay, can you send somebody else back to get my bags? They're like, nope, we can't do that. I was like, why not? They said, we can't. I was like, so I just leave my bags there and hope that nobody takes them? They said, yep. I was like, oh, okay, that's fun. I didn't need anything that was in those bags anyway. It was just my laptop and my camera and my tablet and all the stuff that was of any value that I had taken with me. So now I'm stuck outside the terminal of the Indian airport. I don't have my bags. I have a cell phone that does not function because I don't have a SIM card in order to verify that I have a phone number in order to use the internet in the Indian airport. And I am forced to wait and hope that I'm able to get a ticket so that I can actually fly to the place I need to go, but also get back into the terminal and hope that I can actually get my bag. So I'm sitting around. I don't have any options. Literally my only option, like I still have my wallet on me. That was the one thing that I had going for me is I had my wallet. And so, I could afford to buy the ticket and I'm waiting and it's like right at, I think 5:45 was the time that I was supposed to go up and see if they had any leftover tickets. So I walk up, wait in the line right at 5:45. I get up to the desk and say, hey, I'm supposed to check and see if there are any extra tickets that you can sell to me because people didn't show up on time. And the lady says, the lady who I had spoken to earlier and was very aware of my situation says, oh, sorry, I just sold the last one to the guy in front of you. So then I'm like, okay, what to do. Now, fortunately, there were also people that I knew that were in Bhopal at the time. So I could really choose if I wanted to go to Bhopal or Indore. But obviously, I don't have my bag. And it's getting later in the day, and they don't have any more flights to Bhopal or Indore. So they're like, okay, what we can do is we can get you on a flight to Bhopal at 5 a.m. And keep in mind, this is at 6 p.m. So I'm like, okay, Bhopal's in India, for those of you who don't know. This is in a Delhi airport that all this is happening. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I will stay there. The airport had like an in-airport hotel that you can stay in, but they charge by the hour and it's really, really expensive. So I was like, you know what? I'll stay inside the airport hotel for a few hours and then I'll get up and just hang out. And I didn't want to pay like a buttload of money just for a crappy hotel room. So I stayed in there for like 4 hours from like 8 p.m. to midnight and then I checked out. And so at that point, I'm just wandering around the terminal, trying to find some way to charge my phone because my charger was actually in my backpack. So now I have a dead phone, which I can't even use to do anything at that point. Did end up finding a dude that was from Canada, and he let me charge my phone on his laptop, and I sat there and talked to him for a little bit until they won't let you back in the terminal with your ticket unless it's within 3 hours of your flight. So finally, around like 2:30 a.m., they finally let me back into the terminal, and I go to guest services or whatever it's called. I'm like, hey, I left my bag here, and they're like, oh, yeah, we thought it was a bomb threat. Can you come answer a bazillion questions so that we can give it back to you? and I answered their bazillion questions, and I finally flew to Bhopal, after which I then had to take a 3-hour bus ride to get to Indore, but I finally made it there. And that is my story of how I got stuck in the Delhi airport for 24 hours.